Hi, this is the Behringer JT-4000 Micro, the first release in Behringer's line of really tiny synthesizers you can fit in your hand. It's based on the Roland JP8000 synthesizer, which still, to this day, is regarded as a legend due to its creamy supersaw waveform. Does the JT4000 live up to its forerunner? Maybe not. Let me explain. A while back I posted a quick video on my thoughts on the Behringer JT4000. And I received some criticism that the video was too talky and too little showy. So here is my proper review of the Behringer JT4000 Micro. Let's just get one thing out of the way before Behringer sends their flying monkeys to defend their product. This is my personal opinion, nothing else. There are things from Behringer I like, and there are things from Behringer I don't like. Now, let's get on with it. If the TB303 is the godfather of acid house, the JP8000 is the godfather of trance and can even be considered to be the seed that eventually grew into modern EDM music. Few polyphonic modern synthesizers had bigger impact on the mainstream dance music scene than the JP8000. It was the sound, and the sound was something new called the supersaw. Saying that the Behringer JT4000 is a clone of the JP8000 is like saying the hand of my wife is my wife. Gone are the performance functionality, effects, tactile interface, the big polyphony, and of course the full-sized keyboard. What we have here is basically a 4-voice replication of the JP8000 oscillator, truncated, dry and packed into a very cute and portable package. Before I start tearing this thing apart, I just want to say that I am a big fan of this form factor. Just the fact Behringer managed to squeeze in a polyphonic synth into this little enclosure is just amazing. It's smaller than a Volca, it fits in your hand, it has a very small display but with a good sharpness. It has a mini touch keyboard that can even be used to play chords. It got 4 knobs, 6 buttons and 1 on-off switch. There is no MIDI jack, but it has USB-C, which deals with the MIDI and also powers the unit. It feels really well built, and while the knobs are tiny and not so comfortable, they on the other hand doesn't feel like they will break down easily. The only reason why anyone would be interested in this synth is of course because of the supersaw. And I give the supersaw in the JT4000 Micro 4 out of 5 bananas. The waveform is very well behaved. It doesn't go to really crazy places, which in practice means the sweet spot is fairly large and it's almost impossible to make it sound bad. There are other waveforms as well, like triangle, square and saw, and they behave as one would expect. It has ring modulation and a simple form of FM as well. Nice, but doesn't bring anything really interesting to the table. Behringer describes the JT4000 as having 2 analog modeling oscillators per voice. While this is technically true, the JT indeed has 2 oscillators, only one of them can be used for the supersaw, which surprised me when I first got the unit. The web page is not clear about this at all, and you have to go to the manual to learn that only one oscillator can be set to the supersaw. Now, I don't know about you, but not being upfront about important details like that rubs me the wrong way. I can absolutely see people quickly reading the specs on Behringer's website or on Thomann, thinking they will be getting a 2 oscillator supersaw synth. You can still make classic 90s plucks and really nice pads with the JT, but being able to use 2 supersaws with independent tunings have always been a trick to take pads or leads to the next big heights. Another important thing to mention is that this is a synthesizer that becomes exponentially better with effects. When it comes to the JT and the original for that matter, reverb, chorus and delays are as important as whipped cream with your ice cream. It just brings it into full circle. The character of the filter is very smooth, and the resonance doesn't allow you to go nasty places. So, you got 5 buttons to set the general area of the synth, such as oscillator, filter, LFO, envelopes, plus a button for general settings. To the left you have a selector knob, and to the right you have 2 knobs, called A and B. The operation of the unit goes like this. You press a button to go to the area you want to, filter for example. You turn the knob to the left to select the parameter you want and adjust it with the right A and B knobs. On paper, this sounds like a fine idea, but in practice you are spending more time pressing buttons to get where you want, scrolling back and forth to balance parameters in your sound, rather than concentrating on the sound. Again, I'm only talking about my own personal experience here, but I found making sounds with the JT4000 was a deeply unpleasant experience. And if you think that that is just a result of the compact form factor, I just want to say that I have other small compact synths like the Korg Volcas, and I found editing them to be much more intuitive to work with than the JT4000. Let me put it this way. If you are not a fan of menu diving, then you won't be a fan of editing the JT4000. It really surprised me that Behringer didn't include an editor for it. They have this SynthTribe app, but that's just for updating firmwares and loading and saving complete banks of sounds. There is an editor made by a guy called Momo Müller, but you have to pay a couple of bucks for it. Not much, but I think Behringer should have made their own and released it for free. Even the SynthTribe app allows you to create sequences on the Behringer Crave on the computer, so why not the JT4000? This feels to me like a wasted opportunity. That way you could create sounds on the computer and then make any necessary adjustment on the unit. Maybe Behringer will create an editor in the future. Let's hope so. The JT4000 Micro is impressively cheap. It costs 50 euros, and considering you're getting a polyphonic synthesizer complete with a small keyboard emulating an old classic is nothing but outstanding. While 4 voices is not a lot, I felt quite comfortable with it. You can make slow arpeggios moving into each other's tails without stealing voices. So, what's inside the JT4000 Micro, you wonder? Who knows? Let's open it up and find out. Here are a few examples of sounds I made on the JT4000 Micro. Again, I'm only talking from my own personal perspective here. But as a whole, the JT4000 Micro was a disappointment for me. Yes, it comes at a very attractive price point, but for me personally, it wouldn't have mattered if the JT4000 costed 40 euros or even 25. The problem is that I don't think the JT4000 is a good instrument as a whole. While the idea of the micro form factor is cute, I think Behringer cut away too many corners to make this instrument come true at this price and size. For example, the Volca keys cost 3 times as much, but is 100 times more fun to use. They got effects, a sequencer, built-in speaker, it runs on batteries, is easy to use and sounds great. The Behringer JT4000 is cute and sounds good. That's it. The problem is that the JT4000 Micro is too micro. Sure, it's smaller than a Volca, but you can't use it on the bus unless you have a battery bank. And you can't store your IDs either. Then what's the point of the small portable form factor? Maybe the market for people who have a spare desk space of 9 times 13 centimeters is huge. What do I know? The one area where I personally found the JT4000 to be really useful is to use it as food for your samplers. Here I recorded a supersaw from the Behringer to the Ensoniq EPS 16 Plus. And here I took the sampled waveform from the EPS and imported it into Omnisphere. Sounds effing fantastic if you ask me. But to be fair, both the EPS 16 Plus and Omnisphere are known to make good things sound better. But the result is great, and using the JT as material for further work is not a bad idea at all. If you are looking for a cheap polyphonic hardware synthesizer that can do great synth pads, the JT4000 Micro could be worth checking out. Personally, I see the first Behringer Micro as a wasted opportunity. If Behringer would have made the JT4000 a bit like the Korg Volcas, I would have been completely crazy about it. Slap a simple sequencer on it, make it run on batteries, and it would have been so much more fun. Thank you for listening.